Hello, everybody. Welcome back here. And we saw this post of uh, our group, I Am Twin Flame, and we had a discussions today about with Paulina about this. That the people still asking for what's the difference. Being in the twin flame journey and talking about as far as a union goes and what the union is and what is it that in dynamic that it's different. And that question was made by Maria Spark Mama user on a Facebook. And talking about this, about it, that just to remind you that twin flame is a journey, finding your true self, preparing you for a union. And we're going to be talking about this a little bit more than details, but now I'm giving it the mic to Paulina so she can
Mhm.
get us started here, put in this information. Hopefully helps everybody.
Yeah, we had this question just pop up in front of me, and I sent it to Dio, and we decided that it's a actually interesting topic because it's we can just show our perspective and it just maybe introduce what we see as it's different from the normal relationship. And first, I think you just have to see how you see normal relationship or normal twin flame dynamic because there is a lot of maybe misunderstandings, or maybe people should be reconsidering normally what people think about talking about twin flame dynamic. The first thing in mind comes to this running and chasing, and when things got into balance finally, so we stopped running after each other. But I think after that we are entering this healthy phase of the twin flame stage, and I think that's when the true relationship is happening without all these dramatic events and just blocking each other. So I think once you have this set up in your mind that you don't want to recreate those running and chasing scenarios, you are ready actually to enter this stage of union. But we were talking a little bit in our other videos how in reality it's just the union with yourself, and that's the state that you will be bringing into the relationship. So that's just the first introduction for me, but maybe you want to add something to this part.
There's a lot of huge difference. First, and as Paulina said, following from her and through our personal experience here, talking, um, your understanding about relationship, what relationship should be, in there, it's very crucial from who you learn that relationship. How did you program your way as a relationship? What kind of culture you were developing this within yourself? And also, what is your dreams? What is your these dreams that you want to achieve into there? And is it crucial to understand first of all yourself? Because without understanding yourself, you're gonna be ending up in runner chaser dynamic. You're in the runner chaser dynamic for one reason. You're the runner chaser within your own self. You're running from the truth. You're running from who you are. You are running and you're chasing something that other people want to give you, and so on. You will understand that this definition of a relationship in there, what is the proper way of relationship? Throughout a lot of the consultations, been done it and done and experiencing and so on and so on, you're going to come to a point that you have to be independent within yourself, and you will understand that a lot of the relationships they are codependent. They're basic of codependency. While here into the twin flame dynamic, when you get yourself together, you put yourself together, and when you're ready for a union, then the things is going to work out for you, and that turns to a interdependence in there, and it's a more interdependence partnership. It's not a relationship, okay? Because if the relations within you are changing, there is gonna be no ship. You're gonna have a sinking ship, okay? But when there is an interdependence in there, when the boat putting together, when the both are working together, there is equality in there. But at the same time, you keep in your individuality and everyone respect the individuality in a form of healthy boundaries within, then that union gives its fruits. And that's what the purpose is, that love, you to experience it in all levels. It's not only in a 5D and a 3D there. And there is a lot of huge differences. And this is what we're going to be discussing here and so on. I'm going to get Paulina's beginning with something she's got in her mind already, sense it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, the twin flame union is actually, it should not be different than regular relationship because, you know, we all explain when talking about this twin flame journey that it's a kind of a template for other people how the relationship should look like. So I think if anything, trying to compare regular relationship with twin flame union, I think that's what we should strive for. This balanced connection with people when they can discuss things, when they can just really share everything, what's in their mind, when they can just openly discuss if they have some hardships going through and they are able to work it through. That should be regular relationship. So if anything, I would say, mm, I think those twin flame dynamics, which are still within the running and chasing and this balancing out, and some person is over giving, another person is just totally not interested. This is what just one example of non-regular relationship, which should not be happening, anymore. But since people just cannot recognize that this is just unhealthy, just to really put so much while someone is not even interested, or maybe they are just not ready to perform, just not ready to give the same amount of interest that you're giving. That's something that has to be reconsidered. So if anything, I really see those relationships in union, that they give a very good example to all the relationships that are currently happening. And it doesn't even have to be spiritual very much. It's just that just gives you example how people should navigate with each other. So maybe after that, once we are done with this more theory, we can share our examples of how we really feel. Because for me right now, it's just okay, finally I feel like in a normal relationship where I don't have to pretend anything. I feel like I'm so maybe I understand myself better, but also I love myself more. And that's what I'm bringing. I don't have to hide any of those parts because I learned to tolerate those parts in myself. Before that, when both in twin flame experiences or even in standard relationships that I had experience with, there was always something I had to pretend or hide. Right now, since I balance it out on myself, I don't have to pretend any of those things. I don't have to hide anything. I'm not afraid to show all of the parts. So I think that's what you learn to bring this into relationship in the union.
Talking about a balance in there, as Paulina said, balance within herself. It's this balance we're talking about. It first begins with you. First begin with both of us as before our union. But talking about this balance, take a look at it first of all, because I encountered those energies. Some of the people out there for it, they're coming from regular relationship. They learned there is this twin flame relationship, and now the people are actively seeking their twin flame. And when somebody gives them this little bit of seeking and they grab it for the energies in there without the proper understanding that you have to be in a very good, honest relationship within yourself before this. And when you get in those energies, or when you meet your twin flame, you triggers in that portions within yourself. Uh, that relationship is gonna comes in and trigger the unhealed parts within you that you have not unified within yourself. And that is a one of the things that we're trying to tell the people in there. Unify yourself before getting into union in there, because if you have not learned from the previous, we're talking about regular relationships in there, into the regular relationships, most of the situations, even I look at it statistics back in the days, we're talking about the divorce ratio. Okay, there is something's wrong with the society when the ratio is over. I think back in the days that was about 57 or 58% divorce rate by the age of 35. So why there is a most more than a half of the marriages are failure and so if you have not healed that failures of this regular relationship, and you haven't succeeded in there, you need to understand those failures, those things, those unhealed stuff. They're gonna comes in and they trigger you within the union. And the twin flame is totally different, opposite. You need to understand everything is upside down. In a regular relationship, you pretend, you hide just a relationship to go on because you operated from what? You operated from survival. You operate, oh yeah, the society said I have to get married. The society or parents or everyone said I have to have kids. The society and or everyone else said that your kids should have to go to this school. You should have a job. You should make a whole tons of money. Where is your soul? Where is your spirit in there? While in the twin flame, it just brings everything. It is like, oh my God, I abandoned myself. I didn't work on my own personal issues and a soul. And what I'm doing that I'm hiding, what I'm hurting myself, and so on. Why you satisfying the society and the ego, you hurting yourself. And now the twin flame it comes in the backward is like you need to have balance. And when we're talking about this balance that it's made it within the twin flame. That is a when you're understanding not to work of this survival mode as in what regular relationship is. I'm with this person because when we are together, I will survive. I will put you a little bit of perspective of regular relationship. The man doesn't know how to cook, the man doesn't know how to clean, and the man doesn't know how to wash clothes. He needs a female who to feed him, who to cuddle him in a bed, and who to cook for him and take care of him like mama. He's looking for mama. Okay, he doesn't looking for a woman to share his life, his soul, his spirit, and so on in there. And then, what is the woman looks for? Someone who to be a provider, someone who just to care care for her, to spoil her, and indulgement. And when the things are going wrong with that relationship, sooner or later, poof, it's just a one giant balloon that it's full of fakeness because the spirit is not there, the soul is not there, and in most of the cases, and so on. And that's what the twin flame dynamic brings out on the surface. It just brings what you have to do, what you have to heal in there. But once you heal that, once you understand that, you begin to operate not from this survival mode, you begin to operate from your higher consciousness to appreciate your partner. You learn how to be 50-50 with your partner. That's mean you if you have to do the wash the dishes, you wash the dishes. If you have to cook, you have to cook. If you have to do something, you have to do something. If you have to help your husband to go there and fix the car and you just give him the wrenches, guess what? You're the car mechanic. You're sharing the things 50-50. If you have to watch the kids, you're sharing it 50-50. Okay, there is no this roles as a the regular relationship has right now in the dynamic as a the twin flames, and there it comes to a point that works from operations of wisdom, and that wisdom, that spirit of the connections, makes everything, even when the challenges arise up and so on, that the survival mode is okay. You will survive this, not freaking out, not living in fears. And that opens up that sharing, that freedom. And you are free within the relationship, not in this cage where the regular relationship does. Okay? Back to you, darling,
I
because
would,
I talk.
yeah, I would
Well,
try to answer it a little bit differently because, I don't necessarily agree that regular relationship is something that it's mm, negative. Like there is, the way you explain it, you're kind of putting it on this not so good box. I would say regular relationships can be good. I think we just have to distinguish between mature regular relationships and the ones that really people just have to do some work, because not all of the people here are spiritual. It doesn't mean that they cannot have healthy regular relationships. So I think with this, those are two groups, people who have to do their work on a psychological level or mental level, even putting aside the spiritual. They will do their work. Maybe it will be just for survival. Maybe it will be around, material stuff, just building a family. That's how we are programmed. But still, they can have a healthy, functioning relationship. Thing that is different from the twin flames in unions. There is this spiritual part. So if anything, that's just kind of comes to me right now with more clarity. There can be super okay regular relationships. Some people call it karmic, but maybe even those things you can work out. But if you want to talk about this higher spiritual stuff and twin flames in union, there will be this extra energy and extra consciousness involved because you will see that you're operating on the same frequency and this other person, whatever crazy ideas you have about how the universe is constructed and how we are all connected and how the universe is speaking to you, the other person will understand because this person will be reflecting your level of awareness. So that's, if anything, that's the biggest difference, how I can see how regular relationships are different than union in terms of like twin flame experience, that you can have this um, higher awareness component. You can have those talks, you can have the spiritual exchanges, and you just discuss those things, which gets you even higher on the spiritual plane. So that's, I think, the best what you can get. And maybe we should even remind people that you don't have to have it with your twin flame. You can have it with any other like twin flame counterpart you will have in your journey, because maybe in other videos we're explaining it's not just one twin flame. You can just really progress on a journey, but really to work towards this, getting this spiritual component in your relationship. So that's what I wanted to clarify, because
that's
that was, I think that came to me as a very clear, if anything, if there is any one single difference, that's really, we forgot about this energetic part for a bit. We
I
cannot forget
felt
it.
it when you were talking about like the energy was so interesting. It's like, baby, we have to bring this up, not these lower vibes. We need to guide this up. And when we were talking about this spiritual things, I was just looking at, listen to you and feel the energies there. And the difference, huge difference right here, it's not within the relationships, there is this third energy. There is this, I mean, it's the same way it's high and vibrations and so on, is the same way that relationships get matures, but also gets deep. Okay, growing. Okay, this is like you're connecting heaven and earth within you. Okay, the one it's high enough, way above the sky. Okay, you feel that energy, you feel these 5D connections inside of you, and you feel this beautiful, uh, magical. Oh, it's that what goes, and it's the same time you feel it like that energy when it begins to manifest in the 3D. Based out of that, it begins to be very solid like a rock. Uh, Relationships in there. And as Paulina said, not all the relationship, the regular karmic relationships, or however you want to call it, there is a good examples in there. But I was just pointing out in the base out of statistic and the studies that has been done over the years in there. Okay, and not because of anything else. But when you trying to comparing or getting in those two, don't forget about it. We are talking about you're comparing uh, apples to mango. Okay, those are two different things in there, and the dynamics in there. The whole dynamic is the twin flame journey is unfold its own stages in there. They're similar to like within the regular relationships in there, but you have to understand that that path, the most of the path, that's where it's so hard to be a twin flame. You do it for yourself, by yourself, basically. Yes, there is a community that can help you. Yes, there is a books, videos, or materials, and so on and so on. You can get this amount of huge libraries. You can listen to so many coaches. You can listen to so many, but you have to do the job within. And that personal adjustments, these personal evolutions, these personal unifications, is there, these personal things. And nothing wrong with a normal relationship if everything is great. You know, there is will be no issues in there. You can go to work at 7 o'clock. You get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. You can brush your teeth. You can go to work. You can come back from work. You can have the regular stuff that you do, and so on and so on. And you can be happy if it does, which is your new things in there. But when we're talking about this high level of energies, this uh, beautifications of being a twin flame, being in the journey, and get over the thresholds. And the more you study, the more you find, and the more you're thankful to the universe that gave you that spirituality, gave you that opportunity, because you see that this dynamic leads you to this fruit that you are. Okay, it brings you to this fulfillment that right now it's not only evolving your 3D material plane of existence, but also including your soul. And now you have this fulfillment of your whole self because you unified yourself. And then that unifications of that, unifying with yourself, now we are ready to be within the union. This. So that's what I
Mhm.
kind of like in a nutshell. I mean, that kind of like a questions we can talk for hours.
Yeah, one thing came to me too. Since we were talking how it's a little bit upside down and we are bringing those higher energies down to 3D, that can be challenged, and maybe even more people will be um, working on that. Just bringing those higher energies and trying to manifest them here because very often those people who are involved in those connections, they are not like living next to each other and they are in the same field or have the same jobs, or they may have age gaps, you know. So we were talking about it, and you have to really let to those energies to work with you and to manifest that in 3D. So if anything, that can be a bit tricky because you have to trust, you know, that you're on the proper path. Um, because I think even higher mm, those higher dimensions that you're kind of working through, and they just happen, you know. But if you want to manifest those things on 3D, you really have to put actions towards that, and sometimes it may feel uncomfortable. Sometimes you may need to readjust your life to make it, like we were discussing it, you know, we come from a little bit different backgrounds, you know, we have our own stories, and how do we make it happen. And there will be lots of discussions about that, how, you know, how you try to put people from the opposite sides of the planet together, you know, so they can create something together. Because everyone's coming from the different paths, they have their plans already, you know, how do you adjust that, and how do you maintain this healthy communication? Because, you know, whatever you learned before coming to this union, that those are your experiences, how you learn to communicate your needs, how you know your needs finally, because maybe you were abandoning yourself. But since you learned this during the separation state, you're gonna be maintaining it, and you will be treating those periods towards the manifesting in 3D, until you really um, bring this union into 3D on a day-to-day basis. Until it happens, like it can take some time, you know. And what do you do in between? Like, are you getting impatient, or are you having arguments? And honestly, I have to say, like, we don't have any arguments, you know, because like we both value peace way more than that. And if we have to work on something, we just go to our caves and we just work it through. But there is no disagreements or anything of that sort, because we just have those boundaries, you know. We know and respect each other, because we just respect everyone, because that's what we've learned. That's a normal human communication. So I think it's as much tricky as it sometimes can be for people to just bring this heaven on earth. If you've done your work, you won't have much struggles. Like, there's always something to improve, but you won't have major struggles how to make it happen and how to discuss it with your partner. So that's how I see it, like how this training really helps, whatever you learned before.
Very good point, darling. Thank you. Um, we were having those very beautiful exchanges, not only with energy, not only through our communications, but throughout the evolutions with our union here. We learned both to have the abilities to hear the yes, but also the no. Most of the people, they don't like to hear the no. We're enjoying it right now, the no. Okay, it's called a bidirectional communications, and within yourself, you have this. But most people have not even digging it in these bidirectional situations. But when you talk with another person, you also have this bidirectional in there, and this is how you, as an advancing within your journey, this is how you're able to resolve issues. Because as Paulina said, we don't have that. Why? Because we worked it out to evolve, to be able to accept the yes and to accept the no, and to look at it on both sides of the issues and communicate. Okay, the communications is the key. But there is one more thing you're gonna find for it. You're gonna be learning a lot of about practicing patience, but also one thing much more greater than that. Here's what one of the differences probably you're gonna find out between a regular relationship and talking about right now here in the divine union. It is about your union within you, with the union with another person, and the union itself. that represents, which is that is a part of higher level of interdependence. You should go study that in there. All this is calling for one thing, and hopefully that's gonna help you. Some of you let the things happen naturally, because when they happen naturally, is accepted from every place and every situations and all the energies, with the positive, with the negative, but they're accepted because it's a natural part of the journey. And this is where you, most of the people, wants to learn this gimmicks and tricks and so on. How fast I can be in the union with my twin flame. Have you walked the road on your own? Have you been in on? And the difference is here that the things are happen naturally. What happens within situations when in a regular relationship you begin to have an arguments where you do that, right? Compared to here, we don't have the arguments. We have a discussions. We're discussing things because we are ready to listen anything and everything because we understand that the more we understanding out there through everything, the positive, the negative, and so on and so on. Even today we are looking at statistics. We are both looking at what is it this happen and what is this happen? What is this positive statistic? What is this negative statistic? What is this is all about? And why do we have to study it? What do we have to see? Okay. But none of us takes the things personally. That is another key, guys. I'm telling you. You have not grown up and mature if you have not learned not to take the things personally. But you're gonna find out also something else. People comes in and try to get personally to you and so on, and triggers all these situations. You're not gonna be resonate with this. You are in a different frequency, in a different timeline of existence that you can go up and down as an elevator. You can go between the 3D, 5D, 7D, whatever your ability of D is, as your dimensions in there. But it is about that through the learning of this makes this union, this completion. And when you sense that completion, that brings the inner peace. Then the bringing the inner peace, when you are within peace, you can be able to resolve all the issues in there from the alpha state, from the omega state, which is you are within that inner peace, because the inner peace is one step above that is the enlightenment. Inner peace brings the enlightenment, but with that inner peace, you're able to understand everything all the way down to the lower realms of vibrations and feelings attached to it. But as she said, we're maintaining our peace because we understand the value of that. Even that we're facing challenges. Yes, we're facing challenges. You think we don't face challenges? We do. But we have discussions in there. So
Mhm.
that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, maybe I wanted just to repeat one more time, that this the union should be the template for those regular relationships. And I think with this, we should not be judging or trying to group those kinds of, oh, this relationship is more spiritual or this one is less. I think this is a very good lesson of really putting everything as a part of a whole, you know. It's just because it's always nice to see two people who are just kind of learn to connect to each other, and they work together instead of against each other. So I think that's something important to understand, but also just there is this a little bit magical component in terms of union, because it's the universe is involved, because you're supposed to create probably something together and just bring this awareness in people together. But somehow I feel even it may be even changing in the following years, that instead of trying to put twin flames or spiritual relationships versus regular relationships. That should become a norm, you know, that should become a template for everyone because, you know, we should all be including more the spiritual parts in our lives. So I think those right now how those twin flames will be setting a template for everyone because, you know, you will have discussions with your family or friends and you will be just explaining not how much you discuss about the universe because they may not understand this, but you can share with them, you know, how you're just discussing with your partner and how you're just keeping this balanced relationship that you can actually achieve something together without arguments, without this drama and this, you know, trying to push your will versus each other, you know, other person's will. That's, I think, the true wisdom that we can share as a twin flames who've done this work, inner work, and they work through those triggers, you know, how you can share that with people, you know, and try to maybe as an exercise, try to imagine sharing that without the spiritual component because you will be working or you will be in contact with many people and how are you going to explain what you've learned on the journey with all these words that they cannot even understand. So I think that's something that will be probably that will be very useful for people who are in those spiritual connections just to try to think about that because that's how you can help way more people, not just, you know, limiting yourself to the spiritual community because this one you cannot choose, you know, you want to be of service for more than just spiritual community. Mm.
Very, very, very good point. Very good point. And also, don't forget about it that in the regular relationship, especially people who are religious, okay, they still have the spiritual sides in them. They still have this in it. There's still very good spiritual relationships through the religion and the relationship. But when you coming in and to one key point here about the differences between these relationships and the union is you to understand that the universe has its this involvement because when that happening to you, okay, wherever you are, with whatever the situations is, and so on and so on, you begin to be understanding you a part of the universe as the same thing. The universe is part of you, but your understanding about the universe inside of you is going to begin to evolve even more. When you understand there is a two portions, it's a universe and a void. It's the things that you do and things that you're avoiding to do. But it's also an opportunity to look the bi-directional situations that within the void can become the universe. It's the same, the universe can become the void, which is that is a unifications with everything on this. And talking about another thing here, it is that whatever you are inside, in there, that's what you're going to attract is. And if you stay within the inner peace, the vibrations of the relationship is going to be the inner peace. We keep talking about this inner peace, and hopefully, the people are going to be able to work themselves out to this level of getting to that inner peace, attachment to the enlightenment, because the inner peace is going to go get the alignment, maintain the inner peace, go into the enlightenment, maintain the inner peace. You're staying in this kind of like a natural path of existence in there, because the inner peace leads to all this within everything. I think that those I don't know how to give you this vibes, guys. If I have to give you, just give you that inner peace within you, so you can understand it. For because you don't have. I mean, everyone has this parts of worries and what is going to be, what is going to be, what is going to be, and so on. But it's different when your uh, proper belief system matches the reality. Okay, we are talking about this 5D to match the 3D energies in there for it. It's not like some of the fights, with in the relationships, the normal relationships from within. Who's gonna get what? Who wants what? Who is supposed to go in there? As some of the modern relationships is the guy have to play his video games when he goes back from work, and he's gotta play with the boys and so on. In there, while the woman have to clean and do all the other things and so on. We got too much technology wise, and I want to bring you back, but I'm talking about back in the tribal, society before even the cities were existing. In the tribal society, when the people learned to live as a society within the caves, you were doing everything to understand and build that you are part of nature. And a lot of the people forgetting that you also have to unify the nature within you, the mother nature, the care for your body, the care for the physical plane of existence. Because that key component in there within this, okay, is gonna be helping you to understand that spirit components within you. The spirit, when in the tribe, they were respecting everyone, they were caring for everyone, and they begin to evolve the civilizations that we are right now. But as the more we begin to be evolving as the civilizations, we are more focused on the easy things, and we don't do the actions needed. And this is was the great point, darling, that you point out is these actions. And what I wanna leave you with you guys today with this is act upon it of what it was given to you as a twin flame. I stated this many years ago, but it's also a key point up here. So that's all I had. Do you have anything to finish off, darling?
No, I think I said everything. If I don't want to reiterate myself, but all I wanted to say today with those differences between regular relationships and conscious or spiritual or twin flame in union relationships is as much as possible they should match each other. We should just make it as a standard. To have a healthy conscious relationships. Um, I don't want to say that everyone has to be spiritual, but you have, or everyone should have this kind of psychological work or inner work done to recognize, when the relationship is really going off and there is something unhealthy being played off over and over. Just to, for people to recognize these unhealthy patterns, whatever relationship is not serving its purpose, or whenever we are playing some games instead of really trying to build something healthy. um, if anything, like everyone should strive for that, and that's really good chance that you have when you're in twin flame experience, because you've had all the triggers laid out, like black and white, when your twin came to you and you pushed your buttons and you went into the separation, like you got all the recipe what you have to improve, while why the union failed in the first place. Like you got the recipe, you just have to remove all those patterns that you played or you saw that you were tolerating, because sometimes that's the case. You have to get rid of those old belief systems and try to build it the proper way the next time when you get a chance. So that's it for me.
That was a
Hopefully it's
great point that people have to stay away from the drama and the trauma. Yeah, so they can get better within their lives. All right, guys, That's what it was. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, concerns, or anything, you can post in the comments below, or you can shoot us an email at aquaspiritunited.com. You see the email, it's united at aquaspiritunited.com. And what I want to leave you guys is be love and be peace. The rest, it's coming to you.
Thank you, guys.